What if I told you that the most incredible piece of technology from the ancient world wasn't a temple or a pyramid? What if it was a machine so complex that nothing like it would be seen again for more than 1,000 years? And what if it was lost for 2 millennia at the bottom of the sea, a treasure hidden inside a lump of corroded metal? This isn't science fiction. This is the story of the Antikythera Mechanism. It begins in the year 1900, when a crew of Greek sponge divers, sheltering from a storm off the remote island of Antikythera, stumbled upon the wreck of a cargo ship from the era of ancient Rome. What they found would not only challenge our understanding of history, but also force us to rethink what the human mind was capable of 2,000 years ago. The story kicks off with a group of sponge divers from the Greek island of Symi. In 1900, working near Antikythera, they found a shipwreck resting about 150 feet below the surface. What followed was the world's first major underwater archaeological dig. With help from the Hellenic Royal Navy, the divers began a dangerous recovery operation. For months, they brought treasures to the surface: magnificent bronze and marble statues, elegant glassware, intricate jewelry, and countless clay jars. It was one of the richest collections of ancient Greek artifacts ever found. The haul was sent to the National Archaeological Museum in Athens for study. And among all these wonders, there was a lump. It was a greenish, corroded mass of bronze, fused together by centuries under the sea. It didn't look like much, maybe a broken piece of a statue or the ship itself. It was set aside and mostly ignored as experts focused on the stunning sculptures and pottery. For a while, it seemed destined to be just a footnote, but the real treasure wasn't the gold or the marble. It was hidden inside that lump. 2 years went by. In May 1902, an archaeologist named Valerios Stais was examining the artifacts from the wreck. He noticed that one of the bronze lumps had a fracture, and inside that crack, he saw something that shouldn't have been there: a gear wheel. A perfectly formed, precision-cut gear wheel. He looked closer and saw more gears, layered on top of each other, with faint inscriptions etched into the metal. In that moment, the story of ancient technology was turned on its head. This wasn't part of a statue. This was a machine. The discovery was baffling. While simple gears were known in the ancient world, the idea that they could create such complex gear trains was thought to be far beyond their abilities. Technology with interlocking toothed wheels, this sophisticated, wasn't thought to have appeared until the great cathedral clocks of medieval Europe, over 1,000 years later. Yet here was a device that contradicted everything historians thought they knew. The find consisted of around 82 separate fragments, a complex 3D puzzle that would launch a century-long quest for answers. What was this thing, and who, 2,000 years ago, had the genius to build it? Unlocking the secrets of the Antikythera mechanism wasn't easy. For decades, researchers could only guess at its purpose. The fragments were too fragile to handle, and the inner workings were hidden under layers of corrosion. A huge leap forward came in the mid-20th century. A British science historian named Derek de Solla Price dedicated years to studying the mechanism. Using early X-ray and gamma-ray technology, he peered inside the fragments for the first time. What he found was astonishing. A complex system of at least 30 interlocking gears, all designed to work in harmony. He was the first to argue that the device was an astronomical calculator, calling it the world's oldest analog computer. His work was groundbreaking, but many of his ideas remained controversial. The real breakthrough had to wait for the 21st century and technology that Price could only dream of. An international team, the Antikythera Mechanism research project, used cutting-edge tools to study the artifact. High-resolution X-ray tomography created a complete 3D model, revealing every single gear tooth. Another technique allowed them to read inscriptions that had been invisible for 2 millennia. Slowly but surely, the corroded lump of bronze began to give up its secrets. Thanks to this modern research, we now have a much clearer picture of what the Antikythera mechanism was and what it could do. Picture a wooden box, about the size of a shoebox, with dials on the outside and a clockwork of bronze gears inside. It was likely operated by a hand crank on the side, though a crank has never been found. This was no simple clock. It was the cosmos in a box. The main dial on the front showed the positions of the sun and the moon against the zodiac. Most impressively, it modeled the moon's irregular orbit. The ancient Greeks knew the moon sometimes seems to speed up and slow down in the sky. To mimic this, the device used a brilliant pin-and-slot mechanism, part of a system of epicyclic gears, to perfectly recreate this subtle celestial dance. The back of the device was just as incredible. It had 2 large spiral dials. The top one laid out the 9-year metonic cycle, a key pattern for syncing solar and lunar calendars. The lower dial tracked the 8-year Saros cycle, used to help predict the patterns of solar and lunar eclipses. A smaller dial within it even tracked a more precise 4-year eclipse cycle, and in a beautiful detail connecting the heavens to life on Earth. Another small dial showed the timing of the Pan-Hellenic Games, including the Olympics. This feature is a well-supported reconstruction based on the surviving inscriptions. The mechanism shows a level of engineering that isn't seen again in surviving artifacts for over 1,000 years, when similar complexity re-emerges in Islamic and medieval European clocks. This has led some to call it an out-of-place artifact, but scholars see it differently. It's not out of place. It forces us to completely reevaluate what was possible back then. It's likely the only surviving example of what may have been a tradition of high-tech engineering that has otherwise been lost to time. So, who built it? We don't know for sure. The ship it was on was a Roman-era vessel, but the mechanism is undoubtedly Greek. One leading theory points to the island of Rhodes, a major center for astronomy and engineering. The great astronomer Hipparchus, who worked on Rhodes, made many of the observations the mechanism uses. Other theories connect it to the philosopher Posidonius, who is said to have built a similar device, or even suggest an intellectual link to the legendary Archimedes, who lived a century earlier and was famous for his mechanical wonders. The inscriptions suggest a calendar from the family of Corinthian colonies, possibly in northwestern Greece, but the debate is ongoing. Based on the inscriptions and astronomical data, most researchers believe it was built in the late 2nd or early 1st century BCE. This makes the device older than the ship it was on, which sank around 70 to 60 BCE. It was a valuable antique, even when it was lost. This all leads to the biggest question. If the ancient Greeks could build this, what else did they create? And why did this incredible knowledge disappear? The story of the Antikythera mechanism is far from over. In fact, it's still being written. The return to Antikythera project has sent divers back to the famous shipwreck. As recently as the summer of 2024, expeditions recovered new artifacts from the seabed, including more pieces of the ship's structure. These discoveries are helping archaeologists understand how these massive cargo ships were built and have even raised the tantalizing question of whether more than one ship was involved. And the mechanism itself is still revealing new secrets. For a century, It was widely assumed the front calendar ring had 365 divisions for a solar year, but a bombshell study in 2024 from researchers at the University of Glasgow has challenged everything. Using advanced statistical methods first developed to detect gravitational waves, they analyzed the surviving fragments of the ring. Their conclusion is stunning. The ring was vastly more likely to have had 354 holes, corresponding to a Greek lunar calendar, not a solar one. After a century of study, this new proposal is fundamentally rewriting our understanding of how the device tracked time. The Antikythera Mechanism is more than just an ancient artifact. It's a message in a bottle, a glimpse of a lost world of genius. It proves that our ancestors were capable of far more than we ever gave them credit for. It's a testament to human curiosity and the timeless drive to understand our place in the cosmos. What it represents is the sobering thought of lost knowledge, not just one brilliant machine, but an entire school of scientific and engineering thought that vanished from history, not to reappear for a millennium. What other secrets do you think are still buried beneath the waves or lost to time? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And if you love unraveling ancient mysteries, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the past.